Iowa's win over Missouri State moments ago can clinch a first-round bye as well as the 6th seed at Arch Madness. Taking a look at the starting lineups for both of these teams, Indiana State has a couple of usual starters who are...
I think we got a chance for a great game.
Bradley, a really good home team, just one loss this season at Carver Arena. That to the great Bulldogs, who they could end up facing in that 4-5 game in the first round of Arch Madness in St. Louis. 13-1 at home. Bradley Braves wearing the home whites. Indiana State road blues, and away we go. The fans will stand until Indiana State gets on the board. So down low, the lone senior, DONTE Thomas, who was honored before the game, and a block at the rim. That was Dwayne Lotier Ogunleye who got it rejected.
Bradley wants to establish the interior early with Thomas, Childs, or Koch. That time, nice double action. Wasn't quite able to finish on the cut.
That one was poked. It'll stay with Indiana State. They were looking on the interior for big Brandon Murphy.
Koch, a great job finding the cutter. Good reaction on the weak side by Indiana State to take care of it.
Shot clock at 12. Brenton Scott, senior for Indiana State. Has it top of the key with 2 seconds on the shot clock. And they'll get another crack at it. Just poked out. Bradley beat Indiana State in Terre Haute a couple of weeks ago. In a hotly contested game, it was close throughout. Bradley prevailing 81-73 back on January the 28th. And to the free throw line goes Indiana State's Devin Thomas.
Good first possession for Indiana State. Offensive rebound gets them a second chance. Gets the ball on the block to Devin Thomas, who the left-handed player does not want to finish with his right. Push him back into the middle, make him finish with that double team coming. They allowed him to spin baseline. The double was late from the wrong side. Puts him at the free throw line for 2.
Foul on Koch Barr. Both free throws good from the lefty Devin Thomas. And this is the great sophomore Darryl Brown. Indiana State has a great sophomore leader as well, but he didn't get the start tonight due to a coach's decision. Late to a meeting today was Jordan Barnes, along with Kedar Davis. That will count, plus the foul. And Nate Cannell, boy, the folks in Terre Haute have seen enough of this guy. He hit 7 threes in the last matchup. That foul on Clayton Hughes.
7 threes, allowing him to score 25 points in the win. This is the next step of his game in growing his game. They know he can shoot it from deep. You must run him off the line. If he can start adding that to his toolbox, he is going to be a difficult player in the Missouri Valley Conference over the next few years.
Key, tough runner in the lane. That's what Brian Wardle of Bradley said to us at shoot-around today, is that Indiana State takes a lot of tough shots. Some would call them bad shots, and they make them.
Well, they've got tough shot makers. We talked about Jordan Barnes, who's out. Key, who made the shot a second ago. As Thomas gets the finish and a chance at three-point play, Indiana State has multiple guys that can get hot and make difficult shots.
DONTE Thomas, the only senior on this team. Calumet City, Illinois. He was a freshman when the coaching change happened. Gino Ford out, Brian Wardle in, and butted heads a little bit. I mean, he was one of the few that stayed. 9 of the 12 players that had eligibility left when Wardle came in decided to leave. Thomas stuck it out. Wanted more discipline, and he's gotten it from Brian Wardle.
You got to give Thomas a lot of credit. It's easy to decide that, hey, this change isn't for me. This isn't what I signed up for. He's grown as a player, and Coach Wardle said he's really grown as a person.
Wow, little teardrop way too much, and the rebound to Clayton Hughes. At the rim, a turnover. Here comes the man they call D'Lo, and I'm going to call him that a lot too. I think Dan will as well, because his full name's Dwayne Lotier Ogunleye. It's a hyphenated last name, so you can't even shorten that.
I'll stick with D'Lo, that's for sure, Chris.
Donnell kicks it out. The senior for three, off the mark. Just 4 threes made on the season for Thomas. That's not his game, but he was open. Bradley with a 1-point lead, 3 minutes in here on CBS Sports Network. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you with us on this Saturday. There's a three-pointer from Clayton Hughes, and it's 312 consecutive games for Indiana State making a three. Got to go back nearly 10 years, the last time they didn't make a three in a ball game. Here's Thomas. This is more of what he does. Back and down, little jump hook. That's off the mark. Indiana State with a 2-point lead and the ball again. Very important game for Indiana State. If they win, they get the 6th seed. They get a bye in the first round of the MVC tournament. They lose, they get the 7th seed, and they have to play on Thursday in one of the play-in games. That's an offensive foul. They're going to get Darryl Brown for a little bit of a shoulder there. And here we go. Should take a look one more time at that shoulder, the left shoulder into key. Indiana State will go with the 2 regular starters 4 minutes into this game. That's Jordan Barnes, the sophomore from St. Louis, leads the team in points and assists. And he's 3rd in the country in 3-pointers made per game. He averages 4 a game.
Does a great job of making those threes in different actions, whether it's pick and roll, coming off screens, or creating zone space off the dribble.
They got some thick bodies in there, like Amandre Rickman at 255 and 6'9". And Indiana State's up 4. Bounce into the short corner. Elijah Childs missing that one. Offensive rebound and out of bounds to Indiana State.
Win 3. When they've done that, they're 9-3 on the season and shoot 40% from the field. They have done that for the most part at home. They've struggled on the road. The nice part, they're at home today.
Off to a 2-for-8 start though in this one. And that's a travel. Yeah. I don't know what Rickman's pleading his case about. Maybe that there was too much condensation on the court. There is a hockey rink underneath it. It's not the NBA.
Bradley gets into a continuity flow offense, which you see a lot of teams using across the country now. Gets that ball moving side to side, get misdirection on one side, maybe a back cut, step up into a pick and roll, and then get into high-low actions. They do a lot of that out of timeouts. Maybe they'll go to a dead ball. There you see Langston Hughes, just a little bit extra effort trying to get into a front on the low block.
For Hughes, it's foul number 2, so he has to take a seat. Indiana State up 4. Elijah Childs off the mark again. He has missed 2 from that very spot on the floor. I mentioned there were only 2,000 fans here for that game. Michael Jordan put on the Bulls uniform for the first time. About 5 times that many here tonight. Over 9,000 they're expecting, and that 3 from Jordan Barnes, the first of many that we'll see from him in this one, you would expect. An 8-0 run now for Indiana State.
Didn't take him long to get on the board, only about a minute of playing time. If you're guarding him, you can't give him space.
Childs travels. Rough start for Elijah Childs, the sophomore from Memphis. Beg your pardon, freshman from Kansas City, Missouri. Not quite a sophomore.
He's had a nice freshman year for Coach Brian Wardle. Top 5 in the conference in blocks. He's done a really good job of expanding his game throughout the course of the season. The ability to hit 15, 17-foot jumper will continue to improve over time, maybe even expand out to the 3-point line.
Key off the mark on that 3-point attempt. That would have given Indiana State a 10-point lead. Flat start for Bradley so far. And to the line will go Dwayne Lotier-Ogunleye. Foul on Rickman.
You see attacking off the pick and roll. Rickman, the big, was not up with a hard hedge up top. He was flat, but he was too flat, allowing D'Lo to turn the corner and create contact and get to the basket, get himself to the free throw line.
Yeah, I went up and asked him for the correct pronunciation before the game. I just wanted to be sure, and he said, if all else fails, just call me D'Lo. That's what everybody else does.
Ogunleye. We got it.
A junior from London. He played for the Great Britain U18 and U20 teams. He's in the 2015 European Championship. Bradley snapping that run for Indiana State. It was an 8-0 run, but here they come again. That's Kedar Davis.
Not necessarily known as a three-point shooter. He'll knock down one occasionally, but when you leave him open, dribble drive actions, he will knock it down.
Indiana State running again. 3 of 6 from three-point range. Barnes diving for it, out of bounds to Bradley. Running the point here is Jaden Hodgson from Australia. Well, the dish, Koch Bar kind of got undercut, and a foul going on Indiana State.
Good recognition there by Cannell. Curl the screen, attract the extra defender, and a little dump pass off to Barr. Barr didn't seem quite ready for it. Had he been ready, that might have led to an easy dunk.
Cannell slashing into the paint so far in this one, a little bit different than what he was doing in the meeting in Terre Haute. Giles, great position.
Good execution, baseline out of bounds. A lot of times Indiana State will go zone on the baseline OB. That time they found Bradley the open area.
Scott got in the middle of that zone, and Barnes missing on the three-point attempt, but the rebound by the big man, Brandon Murphy. Bradley just 2 of 10 from the floor to start this game. Davis short. Lotier Ogunleye. He wanted a foul, too.
Could have been a foul, but you got to get back in defensive transition.
Yeah.
And then on the offensive end, you're going to throw that ball ahead. You can't throw it to the third row of the cheerleaders. You've got to deliver that pass. Coach Lansing right there talking to Davis about getting back in defensive transition.
Well, he lucked out because he didn't get back on defense. Our cameraman did. I think everybody's all right. That's Ryan Stepanovich, freshman from St. Louis. Bloodlines.
He's got the ability to step out and hit a three. Player who they feel in time has a chance to be a really good player in this league.
Nephew of Steve Stepanovich, taken 2nd overall back in 1983 by the Pacers. Baseline, and a great cut and bucket for Dante Thomas on senior day.
Great recognition. Thomas recognized his defender, stepped up, turned his head. When that happens, cut back door. Nice find, nice finish.
A pull-up jumper. That's short. Murphy the rebound. They say he hadn't controlled it, so that will stay with India season. 13 wins last season, a chance to get to 20 here today, and well, they're hoping for a lot more as well. They'll get a bye, and they'll start in the 4-5 game of the Valley tournament, and the Valley's wide open this season. Loyola Chicago won the regular season championship, but that tournament is anybody's. You get hot in St. Louis.
You got the 2 big dogs out of the league, teams such as Creighton and Wichita State that have kind of controlled things over the last few years, but I really like what Coach Wardle's doing here in Bradley.
Now, talking with Greg Lansing earlier today, and I was saying, yeah, without Wichita State, without Creighton, now that you can go in there and win that tournament even if you don't have one of your better teams like the one from 7-8 years ago. He said, yeah, but I kind of miss going to those places, having those teams in the league.
Well, that's one of the things that instantly you recognize about this league is some of the venues are great. Big venues, they get great crowd support. Myself being from the West Coast, It's great to see people coming out and really watching great college basketball.
Bradley now with Wichita State out of the conference as Murphy throws it down.
A great entry feed by Barnes. Caught it, quickly recognized. Murphy had the steal on the high side. Great delivery.
And the steal by Brenton Scott. He'll lay it in. And Indiana State up 6 in the aggressors so far.
You gotta be careful with the ball around Brenton Scott. That was just close to 2 steals a game. He put it in front, not taking care of it. He's going to be aggressive and go after it.
These fans here haven't had a chance to cheer that much early on because Indiana State is hooping right now. Barnes leaks out, takes the 3, off the mark. Bradley will run off misses. Known for their defense, one of the top defensive teams in the country. But off misses, they like to run and get a shot up within 10 seconds. He violated the cone, so that's a foul.
There you see the quick decision and entry feed. Barnes to Murphy. Murphy did a really good job sealing Barr on the top side, and at that point it's just a matter of allowing the guard Barnes to do the job and deliver it on time and on target. That time it was perfect for the dunk.
Indiana State has some thick dudes in there. Murphy at 270, Rickman at 255. Brown, they'll give him that. Scott gets the rebound. Indiana State up 6 with the ball halfway through the first half here. Foul on the interior as they were trying to keep it out of Brandon Murphy's hands. They'll get Elijah Childs with that foul, just his first. Indiana State with that foul will be shooting the rest of the half. That is the 6th team foul on Bradley. That was thrown in no man's land.
A miscommunication there on the inbounds play. Barnes lobbed it up for Thomas. Looking at him right now, as is Coach Lansing. Why didn't you go get the ball?
Thomas clearly thought that that was intended for somebody else, so he let it sail well over his head and didn't go after it. 5 Indiana State turnovers. Bradley scored 4 points off turnovers so far. It's 13 points. Bradley had a breakout offensive performance in the huge win at Missouri State on Wednesday. They scored 82 points. Offense hasn't been there so far in the early going. 5 of 15 from the floor. Childs using the footwork. Take plenty of time with the shot clock. Inside, got it. Rejected by Rickman. The big boys have come to play for the Sycamores.
They've done a good job on both ends of the floor. They've got a couple rim protectors. Rickman in particular here with the block. But Murphy can also erase it above the cylinder. You're going to drive in there. You've got to have a plan. You get that defense to commit to you. You've got to be able to be ready and find teammates for open looks.
That was a smart play by Darryl Brown. He knew that there was only 5 seconds on the shot clock. He took it right to the hoop.
That's where he's shown growth from freshman to sophomore year, is what Coach Wardle said. Not over-penetrating, understanding spacing on the floor.
Fade away and a cute shot from Jordan Barnes. Barely touched the net. Brown again gets to the hoop and the reverse.
No help side D for Indiana State that time. Brown rejects the pick and roll, gets to the finish.
And the block at the rim by Childs. Braves are running. Brown for 3.
A lot of times scorers just need to see one go through the hoop. Missed his first 2 buckets. Followed it up with a little floater, a reverse. And now he gets hot from the 3-point line.
First made 3 of the game for Bradley. And that's a foul off.
Because as many other schools have said, we don't know what has truly transpired. We don't know what has happened. We just have word of these FBI wiretaps. So I think it's the right decision to allow him to play.
One of the final games of the night at Oregon. And they get a travel on Indiana State. Bradley will get a chance to take the lead here.
Indiana State's gotten off to a nice start. They've been a little careless and loose with the ball, though. 6th turnover this afternoon.
Indiana State led by as many as 8 points in this game. Giles facing, now isolates on Rickman, finds the cutter, and another block by Rickman. Barnes chases it down, but he's out of bounds. Shot clock's at 7. They did not reset the shot clock, even though Barnes did have possession of that ball. Referee's talking right now, and they will reset it. Shot clock resets to 30 because Barnes did have it when he stepped out of bounds. Greg Lansing not happy, thought maybe he got bumped. And now we're going to get free throws because there was a hold on Jordan Barnes before that inbounds pass. Jaden Hodgson to the line. And he played for the Australia under-17 national team in 2014, won a silver medal at the FIBA U17 World Championships in Dubai. A lot of guys from different countries, different states. They have Luc Van Bray, who hasn't played yet, from the Netherlands. Koch Bar is from South Sudan. Mentioned Lotier Ogunleye from London. And there's Bar. Bradley on a 9-2 run now after those free throws. Picking up a little full court pressure here, Dan.
They will do that on occasion, not necessarily to try to turn you over, but more so to take some time off the clock.
Edar Davis threw it up high. Rickman got it poked away, and a foul on Bradley. Well, Rickman has been all over the interior for Indiana State on both the offensive and the defensive end. Barr picks up the second.
He has been. He's been aggressive on the defensive end, and then he's been active on the offensive glass. Not necessarily a skill guy who you're going to throw it to on the block and say, here's a couple dribbles, let's get to some action. He's more of a dive guy off of screen and rolls and be active on the glass.
A 2-shot foul, so one more for Rickman at the line. Disappointed after missing the first.
Those are the kind of opportunities that coaches just get driven crazy by. You allow a guy to get to the offensive glass, and then you put him at the line.
Just a 48% free throw shooter, so he was 1 of 2. Actually upped his average by a few percentage points. Bradley almost turning it over. 4 ties, 3 lead changes, and they were looking backdoor for the cutting Stepanovic. A little overzealous there. Barnes. It's 1-3 so far in this game for the nation's 3rd leading 3-point shooter. Averaging 4 3-pointers a game, Jordan Barnes. We'll get the foul on
for Indiana State. Didn't get the start today due to being late to a team meeting this morning, but he provides so much offensively to the Sycamores. They run the majority of their actions through him.
Clock down to 6. This is a walk-on and a tip. No good from Rickman, but it'll stay with Bradley. Again, it's Rickman getting another offensive possession for Indiana State. The walk-on Matt Dady just checked into the game, and he took it right to the hoop.
Indiana State has been pretty successful in the offensive end because they've done a good job of getting that ball moving side to side. Any good defense is going to have breakdowns. You can create those breakdowns by getting the ball moving. Indiana State has done that quickly this afternoon.
On the court was Lukeman Lundy. He got down to the hardwood to poke that out of bounds. 18 on the shot clock. Indiana State right now out-rebounding Bradley 15-9. Bradley is one of the best rebounding teams in the conference, 2nd in rebounding margin. So So a bit of a surprise early. Indiana State tied up with the Braves. Offensive foul. That one going on Amandre Rickman. His second.
He didn't like the call. Neither did Greg Lansing. But a lot of that has to do with the guard, the ball handler. Wait just a tad bit longer for that screen for the big to get set. You shift your defender one way, and then you come off the screen. Give that big plenty of time to be stationary.
Pretty sloppy game so far. Right on cue, another turnover. Here comes Key. He got it poked away from behind. Lundy, another hustle play. So he's on the deck in his first action, and then trailing from behind and poking it out of bounds the second time down in the defensive end.
Lundy's been playing much more as of late. Junior from New Jersey has started to provide a lot of the energy in making the little plays that Chris Wardle wants on that end of the floor.
Euro step. Fans thought it might have been a Euro-Asia step. But it works. Kedar Davis. Indiana State back on top. Stepanovic hits the three. That's what he does. Over 50% this season. He hasn't taken a lot, but he's now 13 for 25 from behind the arc.
Oh, does a great job there of finding an open area. Davis turns his head, gets to the ball handler's vision, has the feet ready to knock it down, but Davis comes back and answers with a three of his own.
Oh, he's starting to feel it. Lundy, too quick on that shot. Scott almost had it go over his head and out of bounds. Indiana State with the ball in a 2-point lead. Bretton Scott, senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. This Indiana State team went on the road and beat the Indiana Hoosiers in Bloomington by 21. They also won at Loyola, so they have maybe the two most impressive road three. So clearly, it was counted as a three originally. They marked it to take a look. They looked. It was a three. So we had the right score all along. Greg Lansing says, hey, we'll take every point we can get. So here in the arena, everybody thought it was 26-25. But I digress. Offensive rebound by the senior, and he'll go to the free throw line. Dante Thomas, who forced a huge turnover late in that win over Missouri State, getting to the free throw line with some hard work on the glass.
Hard work on the glass is right. When you know you're not the greatest field goal percentage-wise shooting team, you get guys go to the glass with reckless abandon. Bradley is not the best from the field, only a shade over 43% on the year. When you know that, crash the glass, give yourself extra opportunities.
Thomas just entered the top 10 in school history in rebounds per game. He's up to number 9 now. A big old growth spurt in high school. He played football and baseball, but he grew and said, all right, I'm going to play basketball then. He had a knee injury his senior season of high school, then came here for Gino Ford and stuck it out with Brian Wardle. Largest lead in this game, Indiana State, led by 8. Shot clock under 10, and that three is short from Bretton Scott. And a foul on Bradley on the interior. Nate Cannell can't believe it.
He can't believe it, neither can this crowd. But Indiana State has been aggressive on the offensive glass throughout the night. 5 offensive rebounds before this possession. When you're active on the glass, good things happen.
+7 in rebounds now. This is Bronson Kessinger, who hasn't seen a ton of time this season up until the last few games. redhead with the mean goatee. Hits them both. Indiana State back on top by 2 again. Very important game for the Sycamores, a win, and they get a first-round bye into the quarterfinals of the MVC tournament. Bradley has already clinched a first-round bye. They'll be in the 4-5 game, but a chance to notch a 20th win, which Brian Wardle said would be a cherry on top of a good third season. And a chance to finish in a tie for third in the conference, depending on how things break today. The dish and the bucket from Donte Thomas. Good pass in transition from Lotier Ogunleye.
A good find, but an even better catch. Catch quickly to a finish.
Tied up at 29, 2.5 minutes to play, first half here in the Missouri Valley. Arch Madness beginning on Thursday in St. Louis. Always a fun conference tournament. Scott driving to the hoop and gets the roll.
No help side defense to be found for Bradley. I'm sure that one will be pinpointed on the film session from Coach Brian Wardle.
3 from Cannell. Short. Cannell hasn't been able to find the shot so far in this one, just 1 of 4. Hit 7 threes in his last matchup against Indiana State. Hit 6 threes last game against Missouri State. Davis, tough shot. And again, big man keeping it alive. This time it was Brandon Murphy on the interior.
You made a mention earlier today that Indiana State has some tough shot makers. That's true, but at times they can get bogged down offensively trying to create for themselves. Scott and Davis, the last possession, looked real scrambled.
The block at the rim by Elijah Childs. Bradley slows it up, waiting for the big man to come down the floor with now 1:20 to play in the first half. Childs posting. Poked away. How about Brandon Murphy? Man, he is playing tough, and a technical foul here from Green Bay. Wardle played at Marquette. He was on those teams right before Dwayne Wade. Actually practiced against Wade when he had to sit out his first season. One more free throw coming from Jordan Barnes after that technical foul on Childs. That's the second foul on Childs as well. So Bradley now has 4 players with 2 fouls in Brown, Barr, Hodgson, and Childs. Indiana State has 3 with 2 fouls in Hughes, Barnes, and Rickman. So fouls already an issue here in the first half. Indiana State will have the ball and a 3-point lead. They have really been the aggressor in this game, Dan. They've played the better game at this point, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They've come in and they've stuck to the script. They wanted to attack Bradley in the half court and then defensively climb up into their skin and make things difficult on them. Time Barnes draws the foul, is able to get to the line now because they're in the bonus. The officials look like they're trying to clean it up a little bit. Hodgson just kind of looks back and says, okay.
He's going to have to take a seat the rest of the half because that's number 3 on Hodgson. And that, you didn't see much there on that replay. I mean, he had his fingertips on the jersey. But
the difficult part of it is Brown, the starting point guard, has 2 fouls as well. So Wardle is probably thinking, let's get to the half with Darryl Brown and Hodgson having 2, and not anticipating Hodgson picking up his 3rd.
Barnes taking a seat. He started this game on the bench. A coach's decision to keep Barnes and Kedar Davis on the bench to start the game because they were apparently late for a meeting today. That hasn't stopped Indiana State. The Sycamores with a 5-point lead, 50 seconds to play in the first half. D'Lo picks up his dribble. Thomas got it blocked by Murphy. Fans wanted a foul.
Another good play by Brandon Murphy. He's been active posting up guys. He's been active on the glass. He's been active in help side. Here you see he just keeps sliding his feet, Comes up with a block on Donte Thomas.
I love the way these 2 big guys are playing for Indiana State. You could tell right off the jump they were ready to go.
Completely agree with you. They've provided a big spark.
Shot clock to 2. And that's an air ball from number 2, Luke Lundy. Just 2 of 11 from three-point range this season, but he didn't have a choice there. He had to shoot. And now a 4.5-second difference, shot clock to game clock. Callum Barker is going to check on for Ryan Stepanovic. Barker a better defender than Stepanovic. And he will work on Brandon Murphy on the interior. And Barnes is back in for Indiana State. He sat for that defensive possession, but he's back out there. Now they start to run the offense as the shot clock hits 7. The 3 from Barnes off the mark. Tipped around, and Bradley comes out of there with it. And an easy dunk to end the half for Dwayne Lautier. Very important game in the Missouri Valley. Arch Madness is next up for these teams. Final day of the regular season. If Indiana State wins, they get the 6th seed and a bye in the first round of the tournament. Bradley right now locked into that 4-5 game, but they certainly want to finish this regular season off with a 20th win. I'm Chris Hassel with Dan Dickow. Underway in the second half, and Bradley with the stop. And again, second half, Barnes is starting on the bench. Offensive rebound from D'Lo, and he wanted to get the heck out of there, and he did.
Good offensive flying in from the weak side. You can tell Darryl Brown Jr. wants to make an imprint on this game early. Quiet first half due to foul trouble.
Good extra pass, the head fake from Cornell. And he just can't get it to go. Cornell now 1 of 5 from the floor.
It's only a matter of time before he gets going. 7 3-pointers made in the first meeting of these two teams.
Wild shot. Cornell hits the deck, and here comes Lautier Ogunleye, who had that dunk to end the first half. Brown scored on the 3.
Indiana State dodged the bullet there. Scott didn't bother with the closeout to even contest the 3 in transition from Brown.
Scott weaving his way in. Bring it back around to Scott in the corner, and in and out. Offensive rebound. Murphy plus the foul. Oh, Big Daddy's having himself a day.
He made an imprint on that game in the first half with his activity level, continuing it here in the second. Barr is caught on the high side, allowing Murphy to get inside position on the offensive glass. Goes up, finishes it strong, chance at the 3-point play.
These two teams took a different approach to shoot around today. Indiana State got the 8 a.m. window, so Greg Lansing decided, you know what, at Northern Iowa we won, and we just shot around at shoot-around, which is what teams normally don't do. Even though it's called shoot-around, they really usually practice. So he said, some guys, hey, if you want to come and shoot, you can. If you want to sleep in, you can. Bradley, at 9:30, held an all-out practice.
They were very detail-oriented, going over strengths and weaknesses of individuals as well as the team. Nice pocket pass there, Brown to Barr, but Bradley is shoot-around, detail-oriented, went over scouting report very well. It's one of the things that the ability to go to so many different practices and shoot-arounds across the country. Every coach has their own philosophy. Every coach has their own pulse on what's best for their team. Obviously today, with no true shoot-around for Indiana State, it's worked out well for them. Up 3 early in the second half.
Greg Lansing talked with us for about 45 minutes. It was nice.
It's great telling stories of Big Ten basketball with his time at Iowa, NCAA tournament, Final Fours. We're hanging out with different coaches. Really good guys doing a great job at Indiana State with maybe not necessarily the same level of facilities as many other Missouri Valley Conference schools, even though they're working on it.
Indiana State lagging a bit behind everybody else in the Valley. Bradley certainly hasn't beat an arena and facilities. This is a great venue here, an off-campus building, the Civic Center here in downtown Peoria, and the fans come out even though it's off campus. One staying with Indiana State. Scott the runner, and that's a jump ball. Possession arrow. We'll send it to Bradley.
Why can't one of the players just jump up and get it?
They're calling a foul, actually. Wow, they're calling a foul on Bradley. And these fans, if you can read lips, they use the T word. Terrible. They called the foul.
Where's the foul?
On the floor, so no shots. It wasn't on the shot. And everybody in the building, including me, just assumed jump ball, let's go the other way.
Well, we had a chance to look at another replay off camera, and I didn't see anything that warranted a foul call.
Take another crack at it. Scott takes it out. In the corner, Key. 4-3.
Great extra pass by Clayton Hughes right back to Key. He's a guy that you can't get going. He is a big-time scorer.
Cornell got bumped on the pass. A little jeer from the fans. A foul on Murphy. That's number 3, Dan.
That's a big one because, as mentioned, he has been active. That time, as a big, sometimes stay down. Use your size. A guard penetrating in there with a lot of verticality like Cannell. Stay down, make him try to score over the top. That time gets him in the air, creates the contact.
And here comes Jordan Barnes for the first time in the second half. 8 points in the first. Just 1 3 so far. 3rd in the country in three-pointers made. Averaging 4 a game. Look out for him in the second half. Entry pass on the interior and a block from Rickman. Doesn't matter who's out there, whether it's Murphy or Rickman. Those guys are one and the same right now. And a 3 is off the mark. Offensive rebound again from Rickman. And the dish underneath. Scott will take it in. He dishes to Rickman. Rickman may have walked, got away with it. And here comes Dante Thomas. Out to Brown. Alley-oop right back. And that counts. Lansing can't believe it.
He hung on the rim and the ball went in. I think Greg Lansing has a point there. Thomas never had any type of control or even tried to tip it in the basket.
Scott missing the 3. Here come the Braves down 4. Cannell in transition, in rhythm, short. Rebound Childs. Swinging around. Here he comes. Thomas got it, and the fans are into it now. A 2-point game. We'll see if we get a timeout from Lansing. We
counted it because he felt there was an Indiana State player underneath Thomas.
Hanging on for safety, perhaps. And it just happened to go in. It counts for 2 for the Bradley Braves, who are within 2 now. Coming up on 16 minutes to play in the game. Rickman inside, back out. Cedar Davis at 3. And a rebound, Bradley. Brown, nice bounce. Childs got it to go, and the foul. They haven't reached the 20-win mark since the season after the Sweet 16 run of 2006. Childs cannot complete the 3-point play, so we're tied at 39. Bradley hasn't led in this game since it was 25-24 with about 5 minutes to go in the first half. Shot clock under 10 for Indiana State. Get it into Rickman. And he walked. He's going to back it down on Ryan Stepanovic.
Best defensive possession since early in the game, I think, for Bradley that time. Indiana State had pick and rolls there, weren't able to turn the corner. Biggs did a good job stepping out, hedging. Guards got back, and they were connected.
So Rickman and Murphy on the bench. It's a turnover, a steal from Barnes. He zigzags, finds Key. He gets cut off baseline. Davis, the dish back to Key. A little spin off the glass, no good. Bradley, oh man, they love this kid. Offensive rebound, Childs. Brown with the great handles. the miss, but it's the first lead for Bradley since the 4:47 mark of the first half. 7th lead change. Deep three is good. That is Jordan Barnes, who's now scored in double figures 28 of the 30 games this season. 25th straight with 10 plus with a great three-point sharpshooter.
He's such a tough cover because he's got unlimited range and his creativity with the ball as well.
Look at the effort from Indiana State. Greg Lansing, gotta like that.
You've got to clean up the glass. That time nobody blocked out Elijah Childs, but on the other end you can't go under a pick and roll with Jordan Barnes, and you can't mess up a switch. That time they did both. Jordan Barnes raises up for his second three of the night.
Bradley's got it. 1-point deficit. Good. Rickman pulls down the board. Indiana is led by as many as 8 in this game. Bradley hasn't led by more than a point. Barnes in the lane, dish, and no good. A miss from Kessinger, but Davis another look. That's off the mark. Kyle's clears.
Bradley dodged the bullet there with Kessinger missing the wide open layup underneath.
Offensive foul, moving screen. Elijah Childs just kind of barreled into the defender. And that's number 3 on Childs.
It's the second moving screen that's been called this afternoon. That time, it's on both Childs to get set. As you know, your teammate's about to come off the pick and roll, but if you're the ball handler, give it a split second longer. Make sure that your big is stationary before coming off that pick and roll.
Barnes creates a look, missed it. Rickman got a hand on it, but here comes Bradley. Brown, cross court, Cannell, 3, in transition.
Sometimes shooters just need to see one go in. Cannell getting out and getting wide in transition. Brown with a nice find. That's definitely energized this crowd here.
He was 1 of 6 before that one went in. Davis on Cannell, directing traffic, cross court, Key, 3. Boy, they are really high on Tyreek Key. Greg Lansing says that he thinks he is going to be a special player. Just a freshman out of Tennessee. He was Mr. Basketball in 2017.
It's 37 a game in high school. Granted, he played at a lower classification, but I don't care if you're playing small school or the highest classification. If you score that many points per game, you are a flat-out scorer.
He had a record 54 points in a tournament game there in Tennessee. Davis will take a seat, his second foul. They get Cannell open. A head fake. Off the mark again.
Hey, shooter!
Here comes Barnes. They got to pick him up. Hodgson does. Splits a couple. Boy, that was a quick whistle.
Ryan Wardle, 14-1 on the season here at home.
And he said even though we are in that 4-5 game, sure we want the 20 wins. That would be a cherry on top. What we really want, though, is to make sure we finish the season 14-1 at home. Give these home fans another victory. Thomas, strong move inside. The lone senior on senior day puts Bradley back on top of point.
They spread the floor out nicely. Action on the weak side. No ability to double Thomas on the weak block. Nice jump hook to the middle.
Johnson Kessinger. Backing Thomas down and uses that left hand. Nice move. 12th lead change of the game. Brown, that pass was too hot. Just rifled that into the chest of Dante Thomas.
It's a place where he has gotten better from freshman year to sophomore year, is understanding when you drive with a plan. Don't just drive because you want to. That time he kind of got stuck on the baseline. Keep your dribble, back it out, and try to enter it in the post or get into an offensive set of some kind.
Brenton Scott, the Dak Prescott lookalike, is going to go to the free throw line. Tell me he doesn't look like Dak Prescott. I mean,
it's a good call. They call it your meme. Is that what they call that? Doppelganger, maybe?
Cannell's third. Yeah, he's got a twin brother, Bryson, who started his career at Purdue, and he's now at IPFW, a great scorer. And these two guys, the two twins, Brenton and Bryson Scott, a combined 6-0 against Indiana. Can you believe that? Brenton's 1-0. They beat him this year. Bryson, between Purdue and IPFW, 5-0.
I'm Indiana. I don't want to schedule any of those schools. Unfortunately, the time at Purdue for the older brother couldn't deal with that, but it's something they'll be able to talk about 10, 15 years from now.
21-point win at Assembly Hall in Bloomington earlier this season. Cannell traveled. 7 lead changes this half. A hotly contested ball game. Ryan Wardle wants that 20th win, wants that momentum going into Arch Madness. He'll play in the quarterfinals. Offensive foul. We're going to get Tyreek Key for that foul, just his first. Resetting the foul trouble. Several players with 3. Rickman for Indiana State has 4. He's on the bench. Bradley's going to be shooting the rest of the game. It's a 6th team foul on Indiana State. D'Lo. And 1. Dwayne Lotier Ogunleye. They call him D'Lo because it's easier. Kessinger with the foul. Great blow by.
Well, Tyreek Key was locked into looking for where the screen was coming from, as opposed to Lotier Ogunleye. He gets beat baseline. Kessinger late on the rotation. 3-point play opportunity not taken advantage of.
Would have tied it. Instead, Indiana State keeps the 1-point lead. It's a tight game, so I probably should point out Indiana State not very good in tight games this season and terrible in overtime. 0-4 in overtime this season. A turnover. Here comes Thomas. And now Indiana State running the other way. Key brings it down, and he was fouled before the shot. That's number 4 on Nate Cannell. So Cannell with 4 for Bradley, Rickman with 4 for Indiana State.
And to go back to your comment about Indiana State struggling in close games, a lot of it has to do with where your leadership comes from. You've got a couple leaders, seniors in Brenton Scott and Kedar Davis that aren't necessarily your go-to scorers or your leaders, your kind of settled down guys, as you would think they would be as seniors, having gone through the battles for a few years. Jordan Barnes is the guy they need to look to make big plays down the stretch.
Lotier Ogunleye had to commit a foul there to cut off Kessinger, or else he was going to have an easy bucket. 6th team foul, so both teams are going to be shooting the rest of the way. Barnes inbounding again, just throws it over the top. This time Kessinger goes out and gets it.
Same baseline out of bounds set they ran in the first half, and there was a turnover. Seemingly miscommunication and poor spacing both times.
Murphy can't corral it. So it stays with Indiana State.
No dodge the bullet there, that's for sure. Keydon Davis tried to spin that entry pass in. Take one extra dribble and improve the angle.
Yeah, that's... Well, you know what? Let's give those officials credit. Great call, because that did go off Koch Bar. Kessinger, no. Offensive rebound, Murphy. Kicks it out. Fresh 30.
But he's made big plays.
He's the godson of Penny Hardaway. I mentioned he's from Memphis. Darryl Brown Sr., his dad, is best friends with Penny Hardaway. Barnes got the handoff. Missed the triple again. Offensive rebound, Kessinger. No. Tip again. How about Murphy?
He has been active. A lot of times, he can't sustain that effort. Pass. He has done just that.
That'll count, plus the foul. Koch Bar.
Excuse me there, Chris. As active as he has been, that time he was active, showing on the pick and roll, slow to respond and get back. Picks up the foul, but where's his help side defense? No one from Indiana State rotated. Puts him in a bad position and called for that foul.
Now what do you do if you're Greg Lansing? Because that's number 4 on Murphy. Rickman already has 4 himself. Bradley just can't buy a three-point play. That's the 3rd time I can remember that they missed a potential three-point play. Good pass, maybe a great pass from Jordan Barnes to Bronson Kessinger.
About Jordan Barnes is he plays at his own pace. He doesn't allow a trap to speed him up. He plays until he finds the play that he wants to make. That time, great feed to Kessinger.
Barnes not guarded behind the three-point stripe. Hasn't attempted a 3 all season. Hodgson. No. Rebound Kessinger. Lansing shouting, go, go.
I would expect lots of high pick and rolls now down the stretch of this game for Jordan Barnes. Give him space and the ability to make plays for either himself or others.
Cross court, almost stolen away. Scott got it. He was 2 of 10 before that jumper, and a timeout called by Bryant. Has seen this program rise rapidly. 5 wins when he was a sophomore. 13 wins last season, and now going for 20 this season. A lot of foul trouble. Rickman and Murphy, the 2 big men with 4 for Indiana State. Nate Cannell, the sharpshooter for the Bradley Braves, also with 4. The only one out there on the court with 4 is Rickman, and he just got the block. But the big guy. Key draws contact, no call. Hodgson. Childs will go to the line. And that is all if it's on Rickman. Beg your pardon, it's not on Rickman. It's on Brenton Scott.
Nice find there. Elijah Childs finding the open area. Brenton Scott got caught. Getting his hand in the cookie jar. The correct call by the official. But it worked out. Childs missing the first.
Now they're just 2 of 6 from the line in the second half.
You mentioned foul trouble a minute ago for both teams. Darryl Brown Jr. for Bradley, starting point guard. Not sure if he's going to return. Sprained his ankle about 3 minutes ago.
He is still in the bench area, seated down at the very end on the baseline. Not looking promising, but he'll be able to return to this game. Down 4. Scott driving. And no. Put back. Yes. Rickman again.
Scott driving into no man's land, but Rickman there to clean up his mess.
16th offensive rebound of the game for Indiana State. And Thomas follows it up with a 3 of his own. Just his 5th three-point make of the season. But it's senior day. Why not? Rickman's got it. Back out to Scott. It's a screen from Rickman. Scott weaving through and can't get the roll. Davis had a look at a putback there and he missed it.
But if you're Scott there, where are you going? Split the pick and roll into more traffic. Let the offense work for you.
Scott was pointing for some help, and the help came too late. Free throws coming for Bradley. Chance to inch closer. 1-and-1 coming. They call it on the ground. And it is on Rickman. That's it.
That's a big one for Indiana State. Rickman and Murphy have both provided some big-time minutes throughout the night. On the glass, being active, contesting shots. But miscommunication there on ball screen defense, starting with Brenton Scott, leads to a straight line drive, putting Rickman in foul trouble.
5 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks for Amandre Rickman, the junior from right here in Illinois, Collinsville. One more free throw coming for Lothier Ogunleye. Kid from London, got to shake Queen Elizabeth's hand a few years ago. But he said the best part was he got to get out of school. He's actually returning home this May. He says he might hit up the royal wedding. But first things first, we got a ball game, folks. The fans coming alive in Peoria at Carver Arena. Key left open, and he makes them pay.
The best part of that possession was the ball was in Jordan Barnes' hands. Let him make the play. Let him make the decision.
Bradley resetting now. Shot clock down to 10. Nobody picked up D'Lo. And so D'Lo finds DT, Dante Thomas. Fans on their feet again. Great atmosphere here. The rebirth of Bradley basketball under Brian Ward. Bradley able to clear it out of there. It's never easy on the defensive glass for the Braves. Ogunleye got it poked away, but a foul. They'll get Scott for the reach-in. That's number 3 on Scott, who's had an awful shooting night. 3 of 13 from the floor. There have been several games this season where it's been in Scott's hand down the stretch. He's missed crucial free throws, committing some crucial fouls here.
And that's where, excuse me, Chris, as a senior, I get it. You want to be the guy to make plays, but you have to understand strengths and weaknesses across the board with your team, and who puts you in the best position to make plays that win a game. The ball needs to be in Jordan Barnes' hand, taking the shots or making a play for a teammate if you're Indiana State.
12 points and 7 assists now for Lothier Ogunleye. Tie game, 60 apiece. The 8th tie. We've had a dozen lead changes. Making a baker's dozen as Barnes takes it to the 10.
Quick rejection of the pick and roll. Bradley's help side nowhere to be found.
Scott fell over. And Indiana State dodges one. They've got it. 3.5 to go and a 2-point lead. A win, and they get a bye in the first round of Arch Madness. They get to start in the quarterfinals. Messenger facing, backing, twisting, And a rebound to Koch Bar.
Third point blank miss by Kessinger. Nice job with the footwork. Wasn't quite able to finish.
Whistle on the interior. And a word, but it doesn't look like Darryl Brown is going to be available to come back for Bradley. Hurt his ankle or foot here in the second half and has been sitting on the end of the bench ever since. Free throws coming here on senior day for Dante Thomas. Stuck on 20 points. He has 8 rebounds. And there's a look at the right foot wrapped up in ice. For the sophomore Darryl Brown, they'll have until late in the week before they have to play in the quarterfinals on Friday in that 4-5 game. Bradley is going to play at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. When is Indiana State going to play? If they can hold on, they won't play until Friday either. A loss, and they've got to play on Thursday. Shot clock down to 7. Scott got bumped. And for those of you tuning in for the Bowling Green Kent State game, you can find that online, cbssports.com/CBSSN. As soon as it tips off, of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game. That's cbssports.com/CBSSN. 4 fouls now on Jaden Hodgson. And let's see if Brenton Scott can convert the line. It's the front end of a 1-and-1. Eight of Indiana State's 10 conference losses have been by 6 points or fewer. 0-4 this season in overtime games. The difference for Indiana State between an average season like they've had, maybe below average, and a good season is just the execution down the stretch. Up 3, 2:20 to go. Thomas bump, no shot. That doesn't count. But he will go to the line.
That's just understanding scouting reports, though. Close out short on Thomas. He's only hit 4 threes on the season coming into tonight, even though he has hit 2. Excuse me, only 1. But still, make him a perimeter shooter. Don't let him put the ball on the deck and get himself to the free throw line.
Remember, Rickman has fouled out for Indiana State. The other big man, Murphy, also has 4 fouls. 2 players with 4 fouls for Bradley, Hodgson and Cannell. 1 of 2. 2-point game, full court pressure now for Bradley with 2:22 to go. Indiana State's led by as many as 8. Bradley hasn't led much during this game. Their largest lead just 2 early on in the second half. In the corner, the 3-point sharpshooter off the mark. Bradley wanted a foul. They don't get it, but they'll settle for the defensive rebound. Chance to tie or take the lead under 2 minutes to go. Hodgson has it. They want to get it down low. They get it to him. And they've got a tie game. They saw the mismatch. Dante Thomas takes advantage. We're tied at 64.
Great job there. Hold the seal when Scott fronts.
Out because he injured his foot here in the second half. Has not returned, and he's in his warm-ups on the bench now. Doesn't look like he's coming back. Bradley has pulled even at 64 as we tick under 90 seconds to go. Scott, the senior, under 10 on the shot clock. Kicks it out, almost threw it away. Murphy's got it. He lost it, but it'll stay with Bradley with 1 second. So a stunning call there. Indiana State keeps it. Can they make anything out of it? They get it to Barnes. He lost it going up. shot clock violation. So in the end, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. Bradley switched everything, forced a difficult catch for Jordan Barnes in the corner, and then Elijah Childs with a nice play. But now if you're Bradley on the offensive end, Donte Thomas has been spectacular here in the second half. 19 points in the second half. I would expect them to do some type of mixed direction and get him on the low block because he's been very good.
It is senior day, and he's the lone senior on this Bradley team. Under a minute to go, Cannell falls down, and he called timeout. Alley for Indiana State and Bradley. This was the last play. Cannell going down to the floor, caught it, and called timeout. 17 on the shot clock.
Plenty of time. I would expect this ball to end up in Donte Thomas' hands. He's been great in the second half.
Set the screen. Hodgson, 5 on the shot clock. Hesitates, kicks it out. There he is. The senior missed the shot. They do get it 2 for 1. There is a 7-second difference, shot clock to game clock. Indiana State's been all over the offensive boards all game long, though. Got to be wary of that. Sycamores have been snake bit in close games this season. 5-9 in games decided by 5 points or less. 0-4 in overtime games. Barnes steps back. Can't get it. Offensive rebound. Put back. Davis. 8 seconds to go. And a timeout is called. No team has a timeout left. Indiana State, with a win, gets a bye into the quarterfinals of Arch Madness. The inbound. The setup. Cannell slips. Ball is loose. Playoff no! And Indiana State comes into break.